Danny Segura for MMA Junkie. I'm here with Georgio Poullas, who will be competing in the co-main event of RAF '06 against Arman Tsarukyan. Giorgio, how are you? It didn't take long for you to get back into competition, huh?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever really stepped out of competition. I guess per se I did. I haven't really wrestled. I guess I haven't wrestled in a while, actually. If you look at the last time I actually competed, was in college, and I haven't been
Mhm.
in college for like 4 or 5 years up until this recent raft. That was when I actually started competing again. But I go out and do my challenges if you count that. But that's
Yeah,
all for fun. That's for the fans. I'm not like I wasn't training hard every day like I am now. So
yeah,
it's definitely a different life now that I'm training full time. Yeah, it's I went from the fun influencer life to okay, now we're really doing this. Now we got to grind. Now it's practice every day.
yeah.
So yeah, it was a big switch.
Are you still though doing those videos? I know I've seen them every now and then, but I don't know, how long ago you recorded them and stuff. Are you still actively recording that, or just focused on the competitions?
You know, I'm known for the take me down thing. It's
Yeah.
what got me to where I'm at now. So I'll always do those videos. Just right now, I haven't been doing as many because my focus is elsewhere. But I will always continue to do those videos. I haven't in a little bit, but I'm definitely going to.
Yeah. When you do go out and shoot, how many people a day in like a shoot are you, I guess, wrestling?
Yeah, it's different every time. Sometimes I'll go out and I'll get seven people one after another, and then sometimes I'll go out and it'll take me an hour to get two people. It really just depends. Like I love when it's a domino effect when I do it with one guy and like people see it and then they're like, "Oh, can I try?" Like that's the best because then I get all my content. But it doesn't always happen like that. I'm
Yeah.
walking the beach for a couple hours sometimes. So it really just depends. I'll say like I was living in Miami for a little while, and it was much more difficult to get people to wrestle me there than out here in California. Like a lot
Mm.
more people were about it. A lot more people wanted to wrestle. Also, two very different types of people. Like Miami,
Yeah.
I had a couple of people try and fight me. Out in California, I've never had anyone do that. So yeah.
That's funny. Has anybody ever been like, because you kind of see some people that, especially the bigger guys that don't really know much, think they can take you because they're bigger than you. Has there anybody been like so ego that they're like, yeah, don't post that?
Uh, no, nobody's really said like don't post that.
Yeah.
There was one time I got kicked out of a jujitsu gym. Um, I was like messing around, and they were like, the guy got like really heated. He was like, "Oh, you're playing around, like you're gonna hurt somebody." I'm like, "Do you want me to try?" But that got heated. That got heated real quick. I got kicked out of there. So they asked me not to post that, and out of respect for my
Yeah.
friend who was coaching the class, I didn't post it.
Yeah. I find it funny that when you go up against guys who have some wrestling experience, like either high school or some college, they're always like, like what's the percentage? What do you ask? The percentage or 1 out of 10 that you
One
ask?
out of 10. I mean,
1 out of 10, right?
it's normally 1 out of 10, but sometimes I'll phrase it like, "What do you think the percent chance
Yeah.
is?"
Those guys are usually like aim pretty low. They'll say like, "Hey, I'll try," and then you get the jujitsu guys or just like the gym bros being like, "Yeah, 10 out of 10." It's funny how that works. The most experienced people have like the less amount of confidence and take you down.
Yeah, and I think that comes with the respect of being in a martial arts yourself. You understand that there's levels to it, and anytime somebody says 10 out of 10, I know that that's going to be an easy win
Mhm.
because they obviously haven't trained. Because if you're going to say
Yeah,
10 out of 10 on taking me down, you're delusional.
yeah. So let's talk about Raf here again. You'll be competing against Arman Tsarukyan, top UFC lightweight contender, as I mentioned. And after your bout, I spoke to you in South Florida and I asked you what you wanted next, if you wanted any of the MMA names. And it seemed at the time you weren't all that interested and you made a call out to Logan Paul. But here we are. We ended up with a top UFC contender. So talk to me. How did this
Yeah.
all come about? And are you happy with the outcome? I mean, still pretty big name, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge name. I think Arman, his team is doing really well for him. He's on a huge PR run right now. So, he's popping up everywhere. And, he's doing well for himself and he's on a hot streak. And I want to be the guy to take him out. For me, I look at it like it's an opportunity from God. I did want to wrestle Logan Paul just because obviously he's a bigger name. He's one of the biggest names.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that got too much attention. I think that maybe I don't have enough followers or whatnot. So when I came across Arman, an opportunity to wrestle him, I really felt like that was from God, and I think I'd be stupid not to take the opportunity. He's a great wrestler, but I've been wrestling my whole life, and I've wrestled a lot of wrestlers that are better than him.
Yeah. Did you ever hear from Logan Paul? Like any mention in a comment, anywhere?
No. A while back though, I did get a FaceTime from my buddy Johnny DeJolius. I was laying in my bed. It was like 11 at night. Johnny's FaceTime me. I answered the phone. It was Logan Paul, and he's like, "Yo, I love your content. I think what you do is awesome." But I have his manager's contact number. But here's the thing: for somebody like that, it's got to make sense for him to want to do it, right? What's he gonna gain out of it? So unless somebody's gonna put up $10 million for him to wrestle me, I don't think he's gonna do it. Especially now that I'm wrestling Armon, I
Yeah.
don't think he'll ever.
Okay. So that you feel like that not really a realistic option at this point. You don't think there's anything you could do? Maybe just your success on the mats, a few more call outs. You don't think you can lure him in?
I think in the future, yeah, I think in the future, if I continue to grow the way I am, I think that there may be an opportunity. But I don't know that. I don't know. I think that they're very strategic about what they do, and they don't
Hmm.
like to lose. And I think that he thinks he would probably lose. So for him to take an L, you know, he's going to need a lot of money. So unless I have investors, which I do have a couple investors, I got about $2 million for the guy if he wants to take it, but I don't
Okay.
think that's
Yeah,
enough.
that's money. That's money.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know he
which
has a
is
lot, but yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And are you a big MMA fan? Like, I'm asking because I don't know how much you knew of Armin.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really know much about him at
Okay.
all until recently. I watch the UFC sometimes here and there, but you know, I'm not like into it like a lot of people would expect. To be honest with you, this may shock you, but I never watched college wrestling either. Like growing up, I
Mhm.
never watched college wrestling. I didn't start watching wrestling until I started doing my YouTube series. So I just started watching wrestling like 2 years ago. I didn't it's funny, the guys at RAF, I'm sitting next to all of them, and I don't know who half of them are. Like, Michael Chandler came up to me, introduced himself to me as like a big fan. I was like, "What's your name?" Like, "Nice to meet you." Like I just didn't know. I felt rude because, like he's a big name and he's a fan of me, and I didn't know who he was. But I'm just like, I'm not into all that like people would think.
Mhm.
I just wrestle, man. I do it because I love it. But I'm not into who is who.
Yeah. So have you gone back and seen any of his fights? Because there's not obviously wrestling footage on him because he's not like a traditional wrestler. But have you gone back and seen any of his fights and seen sort of what he's got in terms of wrestling level?
Yeah, I've actually watched quite a few of his fights. At this point, his wrestling's good, man. His wrestling's good, but you got to understand, he's a fighter, right? He's one of the best fighters in the world, from what I understand. And you're taking him out of the fight game and you're putting him into wrestling, which is my game. His wrestling is very elite, and he had a great performance against Lance Palmer. I don't know what was going on with Lance, I don't know if he hadn't competed or practiced in forever, but from what I do know about Lance Palmer, I think everybody was expecting a different performance. And honestly, I couldn't even really scout Armin too much from that match because it didn't last very long, and there wasn't much that happened.
Yeah, no, it was a quick one. You obviously had a ton of success on that same card. You took your opponent. Do you feel like you can do the same? Do you feel like maybe you can go undefeated in the takedowns as you do on your social media content?
Yeah, I definitely think I'll be very hard to take down. I think I've proven that, I am human. Every dog has his day, right? Eventually, somebody's gonna take me down eventually, like if I went my whole life without getting taken down, I mean, that'd be pretty crazy. But it's like even your best wrestlers, right? I mean, like your Olympic champs, they still lose, they still get taken down. So far, I've been able to hold it off. I think going into this next match, it's gonna be a real challenge. But I do think that I can still go without getting taken down.
Yeah. Would you put 1,000 on the line for that, or
Uh,
is that just for the content, not for an actual RAF wrestling match?
The 1,000 was on the line last match. It'll be on the line this match.
Okay. Okay, nice. And I do want to ask you because you mentioned it, how Armin's been on a crazy PR tour. Like his social media, he's kind of now he's a fighter now, kind of turned influencer.
Yeah,
But obviously his bread and butter is still fighting. But how would you rate it? Because like he's been ripping it, right? Like on social media, he's
bro,
been
he's
killing it. And not
killing
that
it.
long ago, he was like a forgotten contender, which is probably the reason why he didn't get the chance to fight for the belt.
Yeah, you know what, man? Him and his team are killing it, man. He's everywhere right now. And that's what grabbed my attention, If he wasn't on a hot streak right now, if he wasn't blowing up on social media, I don't know that, the match would have made sense for me. But him and his team are really doing it. So props to them, shout out to them. About the title shot, I read some information, watched some things where I think it was the headbutt. He headbutted somebody,
Right.
so
Yeah.
they didn't want to give him the title shot. I mean, I think this guy, after watching him, I think this guy deserves a title shot. I mean, big deal. He headbutted somebody. Get over it. This guy is great. He's one of the best at what he does, and you're not going to give him a title shot. I mean, are you going to be a baby over that? This guy deserves a title shot. He's more than ready for a title shot, and he looks great. So I hope Dana does forgive him and does give him a shot because if you ask me and probably anybody else, I think he deserves it.
Yeah, it seems the whole MMA fan base is on board with that and wanting him to get the next title shot, which was the reason why a lot of people were pissed with watching Pimblet fight Gagey for the interim. They thought Arman Tsarukyan should have been in there, but he is going to be in there with you at RAF uh 6 here on February 28th. So looking forward to that matchup, man. It's an exciting one. I'm curious to see what happens. I'm curious to see if he's gonna get $1,000 for a takedown or if you're gonna keep that in your pocket. So very excited for this matchup. Thank you for your time here and best of luck, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.